Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to learn how to knit this eyelet cable stitch, and I've seen it. I still don't know the exact name for it. I've seen it on Pinterest on different garments, and I didn't know how to knit it, so I figured it out. I've knitted it in this fluffy yarn on socks, and I've also started a little sample here for you on more like an acrylic denser yarn, so you can see how it looks on these two different yarns. Now this one is worked in the round, this one is worked in the flat, so I will show you how to work it both ways. But the star of the show today is the Addi Crazy Trio Long, and I've been waiting for this way too long, and I finally remembered that they emailed me and said that they're going to make these long ones instead, because I complained about the little ones in my previous review. So they made them. They're not, I mean, I love them so much. The only thing is that I wish they did them in smaller sizes. So the smallest size is 4mm, which I use here in the one I bought for my chunky in the house socks. But obviously if you want to wear your socks in your shoes and you use fingering weight yarn, then you can't use these needles. So you have to, if you use Addi Crazy Trio, you would have to go down to the small ones. Yeah, I'm still looking for a solution, maybe make my own. I saw Very Pink Knits, Stacey Perry, she made a video recently about these flexible DPNs that came up, and they're also small, and the way I knit, they're just too small for my hand to hold onto. There isn't much to hold onto, so I find them a bit, not annoying, but flimsy. Anyway, these retail for, I should have looked, about 14-15 Great British pounds, so they're not cheap, but you do get 6 needles, I guess, even though they're 3, but they're 6 points. Let me show you here. So you get 3 of these needles. I'll get you the other one. 3 of these needles, so they have different points. This one has, let me see if I can show you. Can you see the difference between the points? One is it's not blunt, but one is a lot sharper than the other, and it's the same with the previous Crazy Trios. One is sharper. Oh, I can hold them. One is sharper than the other. You see, this one is sharper than that one. Now I like the long ones a lot better, even though, like I said, I wish they did them in smaller. Like this ones here, they are 2.5mm, so I would use these for socks. I've used them for socks before. So these are 4mm, and look at the size difference. So they added not even an inch, but it makes a big difference on what you're holding on to, because as you can see, this is how I hold my needles. So I need something hard here to hold on to, whereas this one I would be holding on to the cable, and it kind of makes my hand cramp when I use them for long. Yeah, so what else can I tell you about these? They're called Flexi Flips in America, so Addi Flexi Flips. They're made in Germany. They're quite luxurious to work with, and they're very easy to knit small tubes like socks, baby hats, arms, mittens. They're very fast, because they're kind of like DPNs, but you only need 3 of them, and you still work in a tube, and you don't have to deal with like in Magic Loop with the tension when you swatch from one needle to the other. It goes smoothly, and it looks pretty. So yeah, okay, let's go ahead and show you this beautiful stitch that I'm in love with. So as you can see here, I've knitted socks, and these are my bedtime socks, I could call them. I've knitted them. If you want me to do a video for this socks, then leave me a comment down below and I can write you a pattern and make a video for it. I've started with a 2x2 rib, and then I went into a setup row and straight into this beautiful cable all around. Then I've done the Eye of Partridge heel flap, and now I have to say, this is a very rambly video. I've done Eye of Partridge before on some of my other sock tutorials, and people said that's not Eye of Partridge. Eye of Partridge is different. So this, I had a look, and this is what Eye of Partridge is supposed to look like. The one I worked was a different Eye of Partridge, which makes it into columns, and I find it that it's a lot denser and stronger than this one. This one is more like a brioche. What was that? I've just done a video on it. I should know the name of it. Brioche. Anyways, it doesn't come to me. Zigzaggy thing. It looks pretty, but it's quite bulky, to be honest. Anyway, I've done both of them the same, so they match. So I've done the gusset, and then only on the top of the foot I've done the cabling, because you don't want it on the sole. So the sole is just plain stockinette, and I finished it with the Kitchener stitch at the end. And these are, they're very soft. I think it's Drops Nepal that I'm using for it, so it's got alpaca in it. It's very soft and nice for around the house. Obviously they're quite bulky, so they're kind of like bed socks, I would say, and not too high because you don't want to get too hot. But I want to show you how to work this stitch in the round. It's a 4-row repeat, and it's worked on the multiple of 5. Now if you work it in the flat, you will do multiple of 5 plus 2. If you work it in the round, then just multiple of 5. Now you could you could play around with those stitches, because the cable, the little cable eyelet, it's only worked on 3 stitches. So in between each column of cables, you could put, I put here 2 pearl stitches. You could put 3, 4, 5, 10, or you could just do one cable, one eyelet cable on one side, one eyelet cable on the other, and just work plain pearls in between. So that doesn't matter as much. But to work it with 2 pearl stitches in between, it's a multiple of 5 in the round and multiple of 5 plus 2 in the flat. For if you're starting this at the beginning here, you want to work a setup row, which is knit 3, purl 2, knit 3, purl 2, knit 3, purl 2, all the way to the end. And then you're going to start with this action row. We only have 1 action row in this. You don't need any notes, you don't need anything to count. It's very, very simple. So we're ready for our action row, which is row number 1 in the pattern. So what you need to do, you have 3 knit stitches here, so 1, 2, 3. What you want to do is take your needle and slip all those 3 stitches on the right needle, like that. Then you want to take your left needle into the first stitch that you slipped and kind of bind it off over those 2 stitches. So that's what makes this little loop at the beginning of the eyelet cable. Well, it looks like cable, but it's not really cable. And then you want to slip those stitches, because from 3 stitches you ended up with 2 stitches, because you bind that stitch off there. So you slip those 2 stitches back onto the left needle, and then you want to knit 1, then do a yarn over, knit the second one. So those, you had 3 stitches, then you had 2, now you have back to 3 stitches on the cabling. Yarn forward to purl 2. So you're going to purl those 2 stitches, or however many you decide to do in between the cables. So I have 2 here, purl 2, and then you do the same thing again. Slip 1, slip 2, slip 3. Go to the first stitch that you slipped and bind it over those 2 stitches. Then you slip the 2 stitches back, and then you're going to knit 1, yarn over, knit another one, 3 stitches back. So purl 2, slip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, bind off the first stitch over the other 2, slip them back to the left needle, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, then purl 2, slip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, bind them over and knit 1, yarn over, knit another one, purl 2. Alright, so that's the action row, the only row that it's a tiny bit complicated. I mean, it's not complicated at all, but that's the only row that we would call the action row. Then you're going to knit over your sole stitches, and then you're going to do 3 rows of knit the knits and purl the purls, I would say, or you could say knit 3, purl 2, knit 3, purl 2. So we're back to the cable in, and this is the row that you need to repeat 3 times until you get to the action row again. So I'm going to knit 3, 1, 2, 3, including the yarn over, purl 2, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, purl 2, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, purl 2, knit 3, purl 2. So you if you're working in the round, then you'll come back to it, do it one more time, come back to it again one more time, and then you do the cabling, the action row. Sorry, I got a bit confused there. Let's put that aside and show you how to work it in the flat with these Addi Flexi Flips. These are the short version. So I just use them as DPNs. But this is what it looks like in a less fuzzier yarn, in a smaller gauge. It looks quite pretty as well, I think. So this is just a little sample. I'm not knitting anything with it. I just started it so you can see what it looks like. So I finished row number 4, and now I'm ready for an action row, which is the same as the action row in the round. The only difference it will be that we're going to work on both sides. So I'm going to purl 2, then I'm ready for my action row. So I'm going to slip 1, slip 2, slip 3, then I'm going to go to the first stitch and I'm going to bind it over the 2 stitches like that. Slip those 2 stitches back onto the needle. I'm going to knit 1, yarn over, knit another one. Then I'm going to purl 2, slip 3 stitches, bind off 1 stitch over the other 2, slip the 2 stitches onto the left needle, knit 1, yarn over, knit a second one, purl 2, slip 3, bind one stitch over the other two, slip them back onto the left needle, knit one, yarn over, knit another one. As you can see, you can already see our cables. Purl 2, slip 3, bind off, bind that stitch over, slip the stitches back onto the left needle, knit one, yarn over, knit another one, purl 2, slip 3, bind that off, slip them back, oh, knit one, yarn over, knit one. I just want to get to the end so I can show you a wrong side row, because we're going to work this in the flat, so the wrong side row, it's worked a bit different. I mean, it's still knit the knits and purl the purls, but I just wanted to show you. So knit one, yarn over, knit one, and then purl 2. Here we go. So that's the action row, row number 1. Then you want to work 3 rows of knit the knits and purl the purls. And by the way, this is what it looks on the wrong side. So if you want to make it into a scarf, the wrong side doesn't look bad. It just looks like a 2x2 or 2x3 rib with a little bit of a twist in, like a texture on the inside, and I think it still looks really nice. So we're going to knit the knit and purl the purls. We have I'm going to slip one, I'm going to knit one or knit 2, whichever one. If you don't want to slip the first stitch, there's just knit 2, then purl 3, purl 1, then you get to the yarn over, you're going to purl that yarn over, purl the third one, knit 2, purl 3, knit 2, purl 3, and so on. Then on the wrong side, you're going to do the same. You're going to knit the knit and purl the purls, then one more wrong side, and then you get to the action row again. So it's a 4-row repeat on a 5 stitches in the round, or 5 stitches plus 2 in the flat. That's how you work this. And if you know exactly the name of this stitch, just leave me a link down below. I just call it the eyelet cable stitch because I don't know any other name for it. So yeah, again, let me know if you want me to do a video on the socks that I showed you, and I will do that. Keep an eye on my Instagram for any pictures of what I knit and what I do with my wool. Also check the description down below for all the needles that I'm showing you in this video, and the yarn that I'm using. This one is a Hobbycraft yarn. I used it on a skirt, I think, for babies, or I used it for the baby hats. Yeah, that's it. Also, oh yeah, one more thing I wanted to show you, because in my I don't know if that video comes after this or this video is first. On my Celtic scarf, I showed you a cable needle that I really love, and it came in a 3-piece set, and I got it from laughinghands.co.uk, and it's by Brittany Needles, and it's a set of 3 cable needles, and this is what it looks like. Let me show you the big one. So you get a big one, and then you get a, oh, does it have measurements? No, it doesn't. So this one, I use it for my 5.5 needles. This would be maybe like a 4mm, and you could do cables with this smaller one on like 2.5, 3mm needles. But they come in a set of 3, and I think for about £5, I think, something like that. But I have to say, it made my cables work a lot faster than using a plain DPN, and I'm very much in love with it. So yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to mention. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!